Mm. Dr. Sobia,
Assalamu alaikum, Miss
hi.
Maha. I am good, thank you.
How are you? Thank you for joining us.
It's pleasure.
Yes. I so Assalamu alaikum. We will get started, and everyone, thank you for joining us. And those of you who have been here before, so thank you. Welcome back. And those of you who are new here, welcome once again. Sorry, welcome. And thank you for joining us. And we are joined by psychiatrist Dr. Sobia today to talk about impact of mental health conflict on our mental health, and we will be focusing on conflict in general and in the light of what is happening currently, especially the conflict in Palestine. So Dr. Sobia, could you please introduce yourself?
But I try to be collected as I committed. So I try to fix this issue actually before that. But
Okay.
if this distortion comes over, do let me know as well.
Okay.
Okay. I'll try to be just connected with a full signal, inshallah.
Okay. Okay. So Dr. Sobia, if you could please introduce yourself to our audience and tell them about yourself.
Thank you so much, Ms. Maha, for giving this opportunity to speak up, specifically this important ongoing issue. I'm Sobia Khatib, basically a clinical psychologist and working from the last decade in Pakistan as an public health researcher and clinical psychologist, running in a firm with the aim to promote and protect mental health all over the Pakistan. We have different chapters who are specifically working on mental health advocacy, and the basic purpose is to just aware the people and tell them don't feel hesitate to ask for any kind of help. You are in any kind of condition, in a crisis, and in any kind of psychological disturbance. So we have also a little chapter with you as well, Ms. Maha. So pleasure to be connect with you, because you are not only running a platform related to the needy community and the people. This is the indeed eating disorder, and for the Muslim community is a really needable base. We can say chapter, we can say cause to protect and help our people.
Yes. Thank you. Actually, I met Dr. Sobia when I was in Pakistan. I think it was the last year. The time flies. So we connected, or did we connect? No, we connected this year. So it was so good to know about her work and what she's doing. And she is, mashallah, really, really, really good in her field. And I was actually quite surprised, Dr. Sobia, to see your body of work. It's so diverse. I've never, seen something like that in my life. And so once again, I do want to say thank you so much for doing this. So, Dr. Sobia, as right now, what is happening in Palestine, and there are ripple effects of war. I've never come. I mean, I'm being very honest, in my entire life, and I have seen many wars, and I have covered many wars. As a freelance journalist, I was a student of international conflict, and one of my aims in life was to, work for the United Nations in conflict resolution field. So the problem right now is I've never seen, the impact of war, the what I am seeing now. I mean, I can speak for my people, but I can also, testify for so many people around me. So, um, could you
Definitely,
please,
Maha.
tell?
This is actually the very sensitive,
Mm.
ongoing condition, and people, profound consequences related to not only the, mental, specifically insecurity, solidarity, and there are so many things that need to be, highlight to just, form achieving the exact lasting effects. Even in my clinic, there are so many people come with anxiety effects, that there are the condition ongoing with the people, and it's not only victimizing, या हम कहें कि we only the people are directly feeling, even all over the world who really sense this ongoing condition, they have the same effects, are having so many mentally disturbances and feeling of insecurity indeed.
Because, according to, Steve Sutton, he did say that, there are three populations who are susceptible to negative mental health consequences. Civilians who are targeted within the targeted area, we have soldiers on the both side of the conflict, and then we have people, like general people like you and us, who are consuming the war images, and they are having impact on the mental health, and this could be the long lasting as well. Could you please tell us, about the mental health consequences of the war?
Ms. Maha, whenever something hopelessness or helplessness condition comes over by a person who don't see any support, any security system, any helping hand, then consequently a person feel anxious, a person feel sad, a person feel lonely. There are we see that many of the people in conflicting area, 4 out of 1 are having severe mental disturbances in all over. So there are so many conditions. Whenever some conflict happen, the impact is on the larger and a mass level. So people firstly receive the helplessness condition and helplessness, the causes of their own community. We see right now the heart of the region by decades conflict and turmoil, sense of the continuous face of extraordinary challenges, specifically in Gaza. In the long history, we see they are actually fighting back, like occupied Kashmir. I belong to Kotli Azad Kashmir, so I know that our region, our state, where the long history of surviving, war and conflict going on, and there is no solution by any international. There are so many international human rights organizations that are working, and right now we see there are so many things are. Actually, I was listening a very beautiful interview, one of the Ministry of Health person. I don't exactly remember her name, and she reported that in Save the Children, they reported that in Gaza, 40% of people are having some kind of disturbances and mental health problems. Indeed, they are not in their mental health issues, they are not psychopath, pathologically they are not. They are in need of the psychosocial support system. They don't need medicine. They need justice. They need support from the third party countries. So the statistics are coming from the Gaza or from any international organization. I don't endorse that statistics because they are the strong people, women, men, youth. They are strong, but definitely they are compromising on their psychosocial system. They are compromising, and they are actually facing so much on their family structure, infrastructure, health. There is nothing. They don't have anything, if we'll say. And if we'll see pictures, it will very nice picture of flying kids. We'll see social media revolving on a social media. Specifically, childs are flying from the Gaza, and they are saying bye. And that pictures intend to be like the poor souls are going to their God. And this is actually really impacting and making restlessness and impacting on the other countries, people like Muslims, specifically on a humanitarian base. We see that there is no human rights are practicing over there. There is no take caring of anything. So mentally, if we say that all disturbances, post-traumatic stress, eating disorder, anxiety, everything is in an alarming condition. So we must educate people, like you are educating by your own platform, and educating the people and asking people to just voice their uh, voices for the help of their rights and other things as well.
But Dr. Sobia, you mentioned that it's one of the feelings, and I agree with you. It's helplessness. People want to do something because the images we are seeing are very, very graphic, and it's not just that people who have pre-existing mental health problems who are getting impacted. It's the general population as well. I mean, the response we see now to the Gaza. I mean, I don't think so. We even saw this response in 23 when the Iraq was invaded by Britannia and America. So, what we see now is, I mean, completely on a different level and different scale. So what happens? I mean, I really want to ask you, I mean, you see people who come with the mental health conditions to you and they feel helpless. What do you do? How you treat the helpless situation?
Actually, I firstly endorse the people who are having some kind of distress and emotional distress is going on in an indirect ways, largely. Specifically, if social media images comes up, are people who are already having some kind of disturbances and existing mental disturbances. They comes up with a high, in triggering level. So I suggested them with a 3L strategy. This is basically first psychological aid, drafted and designed by World Health Organization, and they say when you are in an emergency condition, you must be fight against with the 3L: look, listen, and link. Look means whatever you have resources, whatever you have in your hand, try to find it out those resources. As in Pakistan, I suggested with so many people who group of people, as group of students comes with some emotional distress, and they are saying we can't do anything for Gaza, we can't do for this ongoing condition, and I only say you can just voice, and you can just tag, you can just educate people about the history of Gaza, about the ongoing condition in accurate manner. This is your resource. This is what you can do at your level. And the other thing, look what is actually going on this condition. When you are not clear about any condition, you get more helpless, you get more burdened with the psychological problems, and emotional distress comes when you don't find any kind of solution. So I usually recommend that look the resources and the channels and the work platforms, whatever you have, you need to be vocalize yourself. You need to be first settled yourself, because if you will get disturbed, distress, and emotionally break, then you will not support your brother and sister. So third one, link. Whenever you are linked with someone who is in a conflicting condition, or you need to be ready to connect with the third party plays always to connect. As we right now, NDMA, National Disaster Management System, working on some level, and when and the borders are open, they provide some kind of 40 to 50 doctors are going, and some people from psychosocial support people are also going with that, and training is really important for them. So I usually suggested that please calm down your nerves, don't go panic. You need to just stay calm and vocalize your voices for your brother and sister. You need to be not show your picture of extremism. You need to be show of your peace develop. We really look forward, if we are advocating for peace, definitely we stick with the peace. Sometime from our brother and sister who are having in panic condition, they go with the extreme situation, and the picture of Muslim community always goes back, and they called as different kind of words. And even I was seeing a one of interview from Israel, they were calling an animal and so many of bad words in human eye basis. We will not adopt that ways. Please give me a moment. So there are so many things. Come in. I'm so sorry, give me a
Yeah.
minute. So there are so many things that we need to be settled down on at your individual level, then as a group level. Then we can, stand by with our brother and sister who are in Gaza, and they are striving, they are struggling, they are looking for third party support actually. But sometimes we only picturize something and we are not doing. We need to even I endorse some of the schools of here in university that write in some appropriate blogs for them that will help them to endorse their rights, because this is the way. In Urdu we say kalam ki ek kalam ki base pe we can advocate. Right now, if you don't have any kind of big resources to provide them food, money, anything, you have resource of your voices, your typing, your blog, your own, as you are doing. So I think whenever comes anyone, and I also suggest them to not watch the extreme materials. हम जितना वो देखते हैं वो उतना पॉपुलराइज्ड होता है और वो गूगल सेटिंग में ज्यादा आ जाता है. सो we need to be stop these kind of agendas. Some of the messages rotating in our chat box that if you will voice about Gaza, 4.5 stars will be comes up in a Google Maps or a Google thing. I don't know what was the campaign, but there are so many active campaigns we need to drive, and we need to see that how can we facilitate. Even if you are connected with any international community who are working for rights, justice, and educate yourself, not only as a Muslim, but on a humanized basis. This is actually the need of time. Every world need peace, and peace only comes when we will minimize impact, or impact not only the mental level, but specifically on a social level, on a family level, on an infrastructure level, on every level. Now this is the world of one click. We need to use this one click for our Gaza brothers and sisters. Because we just heard that 50 and more than our press people are died because they are just covering some of documentaries and realities. The sad things are going on, but continue striving for something always results in a best thing and a good thing. And we should trust on our God, because Allah Pak is with us, and He saves them. And this, I usually explain to people that 5 health system, if we're structured on an individual to international structure level, we are able to get peace and mentally fit. One is your emotional and one is your physical health, mental health, emotional health, social health, and spiritual health. We need a spiritual aspect here as well, because Ghazian peoples are right now connected with the spiritual effect, because that's why they are so much motivated. We saw there are so many viral pictures and viral videos comes on different platform of the social media. Some people are in bloodshed, and they are taking care of each other. So the psychosocial system is strong there. We just educate that and you should endorse that psychosocial. Then mental health crisis, because it is saying that whenever an impact comes, it is not that time mental disturbances come. After effects is a long one, and they prevalent in a long generation wise. Post-traumatic stress disorder, anxiety, depression, they prolong with the generation to generation. We should take care of on that level as well, even direct way and indirect way.
So Dr. Sobia, this is, what you said, I absolutely agree with you. You said it really, really well. I mean, it's not about, endorsing and accepting the feeling of helplessness. I mean, yes, you're feeling helpless. You have the right to feel, but then converting that feeling into something more powerful and more profound, and taking it forward and empowering yourself to help the others. Because, if you rise like a phoenix from the ashes, and your aim is to make the difference, and you're empowered, then, it doesn't just make a difference in your life, but it's also subsequently going to make a difference in other people's life as well. As you said, the Gazans right now. Unfortunately, the war is not stopping. The number of people who are dying. The number is going up and up, and this will continue to go up. We don't see any resolution in our sight right now. So, what is I'll ask you, if it's the civilian who's contacting you and who is being directly impacted, so what is the emergency response to the civilian of the war?
So there are so many, mitigations comes up, and as a third party, people connected with you and saying, is there any kind of medicine available around us? Please let us know. This was call received day before one of our colleagues. So there are so many things that we individually based, individually needable, and we need to find it out, and we need to be connected with the people. We actually make an contact person diary. We'll say a Ministry of Health with Gaza. They are in contact with some of leading organization, and they are providing some kind of facilitation. As we should connect them with them, and they can easily avail their services. Secondly, what we can do, we can provide, if their internet services are available, we can, I'm not sure that their border is from the west side is open yet or not, but I think humanitarian bases and humanitarian aid are going into the Gaza right now, isn't so?
It's very limited. They only allowed, they're only allowing a set number of aid trucks to go through. So, the last I heard, they allowed 20, and I think then they stopped. So not every, international charity is allowed to go through. So they are very, very limited. They are still...
We should actually call for the immediate help from the international organization who are committing and who are saying that they are the leader of the human rights, and we should loud call for them for the action to respond to these kind of things on an individual level. If their internet is working, from Sobia Khatib organization, always open to provide any kind of consultation and any kind of services, whatever. But definitely MDMA and other Pakistanis, Afuat is also working in some of our soldiers. I think we should say that the Pakistan Army is also working somehow for their aid. But definitely the organization like us, very limited, they can just loud their voices, join hand to them to just please proceed and spoke out for the loudly for peace and justice and for conflict management, for the third party resolution. This must be established, because a one drop of water can also play a specific role in an ocean, and we are like a drop of water. So we can play on that manner as well.
I absolutely agree with you, Dr. Sobia. When the events of 7th October happened, unfortunately, I remember I was reading, because it was the month of Rabiul Awwal, the month of our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I was going through the sealed nectar. And it was very motivating. It was very empowering to go through sealed nectar, the Rahiq al-Makhtoum. Yes. And the events, how those people were so small. They were so small in number, but their belief, their state conviction, the strength within inside them took them really, really far and forward, in the whole. The reason I asked you to join us, one of the other reason was because you also come from the place of conflict, the Kashmir. And my first exposure to the conflict was the conflict of Kashmir when I was 7. And it always stayed with me. And that was one of my motivations to work for the United Nations, and then work in peace resolution. But what you have been telling us recently is so powerful, Dr. Sobia, that each and every person here is not limited. Every single person is a powerful leader, and they all have the power within themselves to make the difference. I mean, right now we all know what Security Council. It's really shameful what they did, how
Yes.
they veto again and again. I mean, instead of looking at why Britannia, is not doing anything, why America is, so why look at America, Britannia, France,
We should
or
empower
Japan?
ourselves. Yes,
Yeah,
we should be,
exactly.
make ourselves, make our next generation to be powerful, to fight against these leading, I must say, culprit of things and diplomat, and
Hmm.
there are so many things we can say, but definitely we wanted to be connect with them for some kind of the world peace as well. So we only admire, and we can only endorse the agenda of peacefully fight for your
Hmm.
lanes. And this is with the on your platform, I would like to request for the many highlighted things, that humanitarian aid must be shared concept like doctors without borders.
Hmm.
So healthcare community
Hmm.
must be come forward and raise their hands for the help, because firstly we see that they don't have the medicine, they don't have the anything. Justice community, development community, the community who can work there, they should be involved, and they should be vocalize their voices to work for their rights. Then we can easily fight against these big monster. Otherwise we don't have place. Otherwise we not. They are saying that these are the insects and snakes.
Hmm.
I'm so sorry, I don't want to repeat this word, but I
Hmm.
heard in one interview, one Israeli is saying, and a key stakeholder is saying this. They are not actually. They are human
Hmm.
beings. They must be considered as human being, and this impact will not be, quickly demolished or quickly manageable. So
Hmm.
if we as a community member, we as
Hmm.
a brother and sister, make them feel that we are with them, this is enough to be stand for them to fight their rights. I think.
Dr. Sobia, I absolutely agree with you because one of my people, she said what gave her the strength, because I said to her, I said, okay, let's minus, maybe the 50, we are 51 countries, so let's minus 48 countries who are the governments who are not speaking, no, a government has, stood up and spoken for the Gazans, but look at the people. I said, look at the over 2 billion people. Look at, let's say, at least 4.5 or maybe 5 billion people in this world. They are for the justice. They are for the human rights. They do endorse the peace. So I wanted to quickly ask you. You deal with the addiction as well, and when things don't go right for the people, there are mitigating circumstances in their life. They're emerging. Nobody can control the life. So here, right now, let's say, we have people who simply the response to this crisis is they are using more adaptive behaviors. For example, people who have, eating disorders, I can speak for my community, they are simply giving into the behaviors. This is their, Dr. Sobia, their immediate response is simply they seek refuge in their addictive behaviors. And so, what should be the response? Right now, how should they not give into their addictions and addictive behaviors and have other responses, alternatives?
Uh, I don't exactly know the condition right now, because there are the, whenever conflict happen or war happen.
Okay, I think we have lost her, but she will be back. Actually, she's from, okay, you're coming back.
Okay, yes, I'm back. So sometimes it happens in some communities where drug addiction is higher. Some of the
Hmm.
already existing people who are using drugs, they even more prominently cope with the drugs. Chances of addiction goes up if the availability of
Hmm.
substances there. Then chances goes up in a condition
Hmm.
of war, and in a condition of any kind of crisis, right, going on there. So what exactly the community there, I am not the we can say any any political analyzer there, but I would like to say one of their document was watching, and they even don't have food, they don't have water, they are actually striving for their basic needs. So if someone is with addiction, he will be dead, like without it. Body is craving for it, sign and symptoms are clear, and person can't survive without their and if they, he or she will not receive any kind of treatment. So response must be immediately. And we saw some of health infrastructure is demolished there, and they are even operating their patient without anesthesia. So there are so many other crises are going on, and if some crisis comes over, people, human being specifically, adopt the skill to just find a coping mechanism to use some kind of drug, like alcohol, any kind of whatever is available. He wanted to just slow down his emotional breakdown and distress, while and later on it converted into any kind of addiction. So the people out there must be seeing these lines as well, because addiction in any crisis, diseases can be emerged immediately, and if you are not responding to, and even Allah Pak kare ki everything gonna be fine there, their first response should be immediately management for the pandemic of their mental health crisis. So so there are so I'm so sorry, there are so
No, it's
I'm in
okay.
jail, my patient is outside. Actually, I am just committed with my time, so I'm just giving you this talk, because this is the time where we collectively fight against the ongoing condition. Otherwise, this will not be resolved. And as I said before, that little you do, it
It
matters.
makes sense. Yeah, I absolutely, Dr. Sobia, I mean, I know, I mean, this was the emergency response.
Yes.
You responded to us because I only, I want to tell everyone, I contacted her this morning because, since 7th, it's been nearly a month, for this conflict.
No,
And
let's have,
yeah.
if possible, we can also arrange a subgroup call as well, internally. So that would be, highlight the issue and management plan,
Yeah.
because management plan is really important. How they can, and even on an international, if we can say some kind of humanitarian network can be connected with us, we can take on them on board to speak up for the action as well. So this response is needed actually right now, I think.
No, I mean, definitely, I mean, inshallah, when I'm in Pakistan, we can connect on this, more, and we can work in collaboration because, we are not, Gazans are not giving up. We are not giving up on them. We are all one, and that whether you're from Afghanistan, anywhere, humanity is all one body. And
Humanities.
we believe in that, So we believe in that, and this is very, very clear in Islam as well, to take care of each other, the mercy and the compassion is what is needed right now. So right now, everyone, as you said, really, really well, that, it is the time not to look at, the few people who are the handful of people who are making the mistakes, but this is the time for us as the humanity to collectively work for the cause of Gazans and, to support them. And inshallah, Allah is always with the people who do the right. And, I mean, no one could defeat Afghanistan, it's been forever. So inshallah, the same for the Gaza, they will rise and, they will be on the top, inshallah. And, we are with them. So Dr. Sobia, I won't take up more of your time. So thank you so much. You don't understand. This was really needed. This was
Actually, I
needed
want to
because,
say
yeah.
one last line.
Mm,
Ghazian people not only need the medicines or psychosocial support or
mm,
psychologists or any, they more need a solidarity. They
yeah.
more need justice. They more need treat them as a human being.
Mm,
They need to be treated as the right of their land. I think
Yes.
this should be considered. This should be vocalized.
The reason, Dr. Sobia, we focused on the mental impact was because, as you know, that this is the third, Muslims have a very emotional
Yes.
attachment to Gaza. You know that, nothing unites us more than this, Al-Quds. If you want to unite Muslims, mention Al-Quds, they'll be united. And, this is the reason, the mental is because, we are in the media, the modern age of media, the social media, and we are consuming the images. And, we do not want, Dr. Sobia, ill people. We want powerful people because we need to rise and we need to do something good. That's
Yes.
why Allah sent us down on this earth. He didn't send us to be controlled by these things. We have to rise, and this is the reason I did this session with you, because right now my concern, honestly, was the people who are so down, they
I
feel
totally
helpless.
agree, and I
Yes.
really endorse
Mhm.
your these are the lines we should be think on, because we
Mhm.
need to prepare ourselves.
We
We should be ready for
do.
our response change. If we'll not change, people are coming to us, smash
Mhm.
them, and say these are the terrorists, and we'll be finished. We should be
Yes,
vocalizing our voices. We should be prepared mentally and physically, and even
exactly.
for the psychosocial system wise, to
Mhm.
just be connect and minimize the impact are going on any kind of conflicts.
Exactly. Whether it's our neighbor Afghanistan, whether what's happening in, I mean, look at the resilience of Kashmiri people, they're
That's
still there, they're
the
still
biggest
thriving.
fail of the world.
Yeah.
Yes.
And look at them. I mean, at least the Gaza gets the highlight, they always have. Kashmir doesn't. I mean, you're speaking to the international community and it's simply falling on deaf ears. I mean, Dr.
Even
Sobia,
yesterday was 27 of
yes,
October. That was the dark day of Kashmir.
dark day.
So we do the part of our
Mm.
ongoing condition that we are still fighting against
Mm.
this culprit. We are still fighting, and we will not leave our land. This is the fourth generation are still fighting against it.
Still fighting.
So,
No, and Dr. Sobia, about the dark day, I mean, I have written many speeches. I support someone in here in the Houses of Parliament, when this day comes. And, we have seen resilience. We have seen the state conviction, how they stand up. And honestly, I mean, a few years back, what the Indian Army did, that they occupied Kashmir. There was no communication. There was nothing. I mean, we heard nothing. And I remember trying to contact people within the Kashmir, and I couldn't get through. I mean,
there are so many,
that, yes,
our relatives are there, and
yes,
we just borderline. So
mm,
there are so many. My area nearby border, it's
mm,
Dadihag border. So they
G,
always people are who are living on the borderline. They are in so many crises. Even their drug addiction is going
mm,
on the peak level. We advocate some of services over there. So you are rightly said that mental crisis, whenever some war or conflict going on in any area, there are the chances of high prevalence of mental health disturbances and mental health disorders.
mm,
So we should vocalize for it, advocate for to
mm.
people to prevent them, and to just provide them treatment, and to give quick response to them, to be just make their life ease and adjustable.
Inshallah. Thank you so much, Dr. Sobia, and thank you
Thank you
for your
so much for
time.
having me with you. It's a
Dr.
great
Sobia, I'll
pleasure.
inshallah see you in Pakistan soon, inshallah.
See you. See you.
Thank you.
Assalamu
Thank you
alaikum,
so much.
everyone. Thank you so much
Walaikum
for
salam.
listening. Thank you.
Thank you.